Hello, kids. This one's a odd one, an accidental odd one. I just happened to turn on PBS and saw that Charlie Rose was on, who I'm not a fan of. You will hear if you listen, well, how is that? If you hear what they say and not stare at them, you'll, on some of the PBS stuff, you can actually once in a while hear actual history or the game theory being used on you. Social reconstruction, behavior modification, social cohesion. You can hear it, right? Okay. Now, that is what I saw tonight. And it was a short segment, and it was by Eric Liu and Nick Hanauer. All right? And they were talking about a book they did called The Gardens of Democracy, A New American Story of Citizenship, the Economy, blah, 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 the Role of Government. And you'll be surprised to note that it was, I don't know about the book, I'm not going to read it, I don't have to. I can extrapolate branch paths and I'll know what they're going to say in it. All right, that's real easy. You can do it, anybody can do it, it's not special. Anyway, there's a limited amount of variables or possibilities on a linear branch path of what they're going to say within the socially cohesive models that they use, because they're not near as open as you would imagine. You understand? Like people that scream, "I'm awake." Well, you're not, and I know you're not because this comment that you made, let's extrapolate from that the possibilities of the model that you're going to be using. All right, because the model will be given to you by your parents, school, government, and TV, so you'll be using a mix of the, you get the point, right? Well, the same can be done for books, all right, especially with academia, because they tend to regurgitate. They're locked up in a habitual hypnotize loop. Okay, they don't realize they do it, but they regurgitate it with only slight modifications of whatever game theory model they're using. And once they reach a tenure status, now this is true for judges, bar associates, presidents, all politicians, okay, their status puts them into a freaky economic bubble, or let me put it like this, a socially reconstructive bubble, that when you get in there to the bubble, it takes you a while to learn how it works. One of you, Mr. Barron, I think it was, yes, you were asking about game theory models and stuff like that. Well, this is part of it. Now, they, like these two gentlemen that wrote the book, The Gardens of Democracy, they will consider it to be, I think he called it ecosystemic. They just make up words. Nothing wrong with that. Fuck it, just make up some words. What I'm saying is, they'll look at it as macro environments. Okay, it has nothing to do with evolution, since that's a falsity and a fiction that's completely presumptive to begin with. However, when you're inside of it, and you don't, it's like you going to your job and following a strict set of rules that make no fucking sense, and the corporation, the company, no matter how big or small, are so sloppy and ill, how would I say it, the mechanics of it are so ill-defined, right, that it's just inefficient beyond belief. Now, I know quite a few of you will understand what I mean. It's just, they're not creators. All right, these people have never been creators, though. And I would like to say thank you to Mr. Hanauer for mentioning the law of making and creating. He actually did, and I was like, oh, I'll be damned, somebody's using their fucking noodle for once. Now they're figuring it out. They figured out how the old timers were doing it. That's right. All right, and Mr. Liu did the same basic thing. Well, when you're inside, it's an isolated, I'm trying to think of, it's an isolated pasture that's fenced in, and it's a status, and we call ourselves, let's say I become a congressman. I'm in a pasture unto myself, nowhere near the real world. Nowhere near it. That's delusion. That has nothing to do with the real world. And it's absolutely not creative. It doesn't do anything. It exists. For what purpose? To leech is what it exists to do. It was never, from the beginning, designed to do anything but make you go to work anyway. I think we've by now covered a lot of miles in book, in text form, for anybody to fall for the bullshit that it was, well, it's accidental and magical and it's for me. They were trying to help me out. No, negatory. So, anyway, once you get into we'll take bar associates and judges as another example. That's how far isolated they are that they become delusional. And this is true. It's absolutely true. However, some remember, this is not really that fucking important, but it does need to get done. You don't need it 24 hours a day, but you need it 1 hour a day for the 5 people that are really rotten to the core. That's right. You see? Yes. Okay. So, anyway, the point is, this has never been anything other than an economic how much can I get out of you model. All right? They'd rather have your work in the old days and make you a slave. The state would make you a slave. You know all this, and this is all the way up until the 1900s. So let's go ahead and jettison the bullshit, ideology on it, because you'd have to be an idiotologist to believe that idiotology, right? So when you keep moving forward, Lou and Hanauer did a really good job talking about, hey, it's nothing but faith in a belief system, and it comes to the point where you assholes actually got to do something. When I say fuck you, I quit. That's right. You have to do something then, because I'm not working for you. I don't give a fuck if your widgets don't come off the assembly line. I'll just grow my own food. Live in a shack, man, like the old timers did, who refused to work for you. Refused to. See, kids, you forgot. People used to refuse to do that. They didn't want no part of that. You didn't work for the county governments or the states. No, that was looked down upon. And one day it wasn't. One day it wasn't. Okay? All right, because one day it said it owned everything and you did what it said, not the other way around. Yeah, that was your industrial revolution. Anyway, so they do talk about it instead of a mechanical system, which is what it's always been, which is like I call it the George Washington lazy-ass model. He gets pissed. They set up this mechanical bullshit, then they run away to go home and to reap the rewards. They do. They get to run home. Their buddies all got jobs in the government, all of them. And if they didn't like you, they fucking got rid of you. Huh? That's right. Mr. Thomas Paine knows that one, don't you, Mr. Thomas Paine? And anyway, the point being, they got to run away, and they built a mechanical system that ran for quite some time until, oh, yeah, that's right, they kept fucking people to the point of the Whiskey Rebellion and Shays. And Washington and the others got scared shitless because of Shays. Now, I can never tell you whether Shays was a setup on purpose or not, but I do know they turned it to their advantage later with the farce of the constitutional stuff. Okay? All I can tell you for certain is Shays said, oh, well, excuse me, you're telling me it's all the commons now. Well, okay, I want my cut, dickhead. And all of a sudden now all the corporations go, no, that's not fair. I got to keep all my money. Well, hold on. You didn't have no money before the revolution, and now you're rich. How did that work out, smuggler Hancock? How did that? Oh, so I'm supposed to get fucked now because you don't want me to get my cut. What you meant was it was common for your benefit, not common for mine. Ah, my apologies. Okay, now that's the mechanical system. They smashed Shays and they reworked it just magically overnight with no permission whatsoever. So there you go, patriots. P-A-Y trits. You don't know jack shit. You just turkey gobble. Bump it up and say, hey, here's a mechanical clock. Here's the watch. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. No man, Teddy Roosevelt, no man's above the law, no man's below the law, but you got to do what we say when we say to do it. Yeah, fuck you too, Teddy Roosevelt. Nobody liked you either, asshole. So, what they're talking about now, Lou and Hanauer and the Gardens of Democracy, is we're not going to look at it as a machine no more. We're going to change the model. Now, feel free to watch Charlie Rose's episode tonight, and that's no bullshit. What they say this time is, hey, you know what? Let's look at it as a garden that needs tending. Oh, by the way, we just figured out the rich people, the banks, the money, all this other shit, the middle management, what you'd call middle class, the people that actually believe their own bullshit. All right, they have just enough invested in the system that they're scared of losing their shit, so they'll kill you if the government tells them to. That's right. The middle class is a bulwark, the buffer, the wall in between you and them for a reason. You're just a worker, man. Shut the fuck up and go back to work because middle class said so. That's right. I ain't never had no middle class job. Highest money I ever made is $40,000 a year. I thought that was some living high on a fucking hog right there. It's some back bacon. Yeah, ain't no shit. And then it went away, which I'm okay with. I'd rather not. That ain't no shit, and that's what Lou and others are figuring out. That's what CFR and everybody else is going to figure out real quick. You know what? I can always just walk the fuck away. You're too fucking stupid and lazy to raise your own food. You'll actually have to pay somebody. I can just walk the fuck away and do it myself. Right? Now, Raw Dog's right on a couple of things. Right and wrong. He's right and wrong. Okay? Don't deal with generalizations always. Okay, be fair and always give the other side of the coin if you can. He's right. So many people can't take care of themselves. Literally, they are functionally and societally retarded. Well, they're not societally retarded. They're well-versed in bullshit that doesn't matter. They literally cannot take care of themselves. They're functionally retarded in that aspect. So, that's that. However, let me point out that is generally in the cities. It has nothing to do with the people that are rural. People that are rural, we're broke now. We've always been broke. I live in a state that's a joke. The state will tell you different. I imagine they would. They have vested interest to make you believe whatever the fuck. And their interest is simple. They'll get on my TV and tell everybody, we have a great retarded workforce with shit education that we provide. If more investors came in, we would do better higher education. So basically, they're literally saying, we've got a bunch of stupid fucking workers that are low paid and won't bitch. Don't even give them breaks. And yes, I've worked at jobs 12 hours a day with no breaks and no lunch. So, trust me, people, you ain't had it bad yet. Anyway, that's what they're telling these people. Bring your company in and throw some money at us, not at the workers. Fuck the workers. Just give them an extra $1 an hour and they'll think it's great. What we'll do is you throw money at us and we'll give them a little bit better education. We'll tell them how to flip switches faster or do, quote, high tech, unquote. Right? What are you going to tell me to do? Build a fucking carburetor? You do know you can make a carburetor out of wood and the motherfucker will work. Now, there's a difference between a want and a need, and Raw Dog and the others are knowing it. Psychodrilla, Pontifex, CR40, Baron, everybody. Y'all all know this shit. If I missed your name, I'm sorry. Anyway, the point is, it's real easy on this shit. You can make do without all this shit. And they're beginning to realize, oh shit, well, if people start walking away, we're fucked. That's right. Let me tell you something. The infection that they gave y'all on the Industrial Revolution, why do you think I'm out here? Balance. And the balance is, I am going to go out and say, I'm standing here and there's nobody else here, and it's all bullshit. It is the removal of the infection. And they'll say, but it's all fiction. It's all bullshit. What? You are speaking to me. What do you want? shyster. I'm not at your house asking you for something. Why are you at mine? Simple questions with really simple fucking answers. What do you want from me? Well, I want you to do what I say. Here's some paper money or shiny gold. And you say, well, I've got my stuff. I don't need you. And they say, well, come on, man. Come on. I like Larkin Rose, but his deal about, oh, they forced me. No, they didn't force you. You're just a chicken shit, and you said, okay, it works for me. What's my cut? That's all that is. So, who said who said you had to go launch a revolution by force? You don't. You just say, fuck you, I quit. What are you going to do about it? And they're going to sit there and go, well, you know what? I can't quite send the military out on my own workers. This ain't Russia. There's a reason this ain't fucking Russia. The reason it's not Russia is because they were asset stripping this country for 200 years since the beginning to dump it back to Ma Britain. Okay? And I don't mean Psychodrilla or Runnymede. I mean, you know who I mean. So they could take that, build ships, and go take over other countries. We're still a colony for them, and we're still bleeding, and they're still asset stripping us. Natural gas is the next asset strip. That's all it is to it. It's inefficient as fuck. They can always make the model look good. But you know what's efficient? Me making my own solar panels and never paying you anything. And they'll say, but society. What fucking society? You mean yours, the one you want me to rent? Negatory. Somehow I keep losing here. So does my town. Okay. Your business models suck, and you're always on the verge of collapse because you're run by fucking idiots that can't create. Twisted tools created by twisted teachers to make twisted machines to make twisted fucking tools. At what point in time would I ever trust you? Right? What's the deal with Napoleon? Napoleon didn't think he was nuts. That doesn't mean he ain't a fucking kook just because he says he's not. Right? Take your failed shit and go over there and leave me alone. Right? And they'll say, well, investors won't I don't give a fuck about the investors. I think we've already covered what money is. Yes. I think we've already covered what the law is. So what are you going to sell to me next? You know what, let's try something else. Though I will say Mr. Lou and Mr. Hanauer did a good job. I'm not knocking them. What I'm saying is, here comes the next game model, and wouldn't you know, it falls right in line with the United Nations. Right in fucking line. Right on time, right on schedule. You're not going to like the next one. Well, they'll try to tell you, well, you can just sit at home and you can design and create. Well, what? More chia pets? That was a novelty that it will last till the end of time, but exactly what use is it? None. Right? Your entire fucking economy is based on panhandling to each other. Well, I actually no, you don't manufacture. You fucking panhandle. I can ride a horse. Right? You can't make a horse. I'll just go fucking get a horse. And let's just see how much that kills of that. You know, let's talk actual reality. And I don't need a horse. If you want to go ahead and take over all the horses and say you, quote, made them, unquote, that's okay, I'll walk. And I guarantee you won't tell me you own my feet. You're out of your fucking minds, right? There's reality and then there's your bullshit. Now, Mr. Lou's definition on citizenship, finally, after all this time that I've been out here, finally, to hear somebody say what it actually is worthwhile. Because if I'll tell you what, go watch that Charlie Rose show. I'm sure it's on somewhere, on the internet, Tonight Show. Anyway, it was absolutely worth it. It was absolutely worth just his definition of it. Just that 15 seconds, because that vindicates everything I've said, because I hate to tell you kids, it's human capital. There is no citizenship. It's a fucking piece of paper. And he finally defines what citizenship is. I want my cut. I want my cut. And he's defining it also. He's expanding on it by saying, well, you can have your cut. right? But we're going to have to stop this chunk of it and do it this way. And it's not a bad model. It's not. I mean, what they talked about, it's not a bad model. I mean, both of the gentlemen were well-spoken and did a good job. I can't knock them. All I can say is, it's all bullshit. It doesn't matter. If I don't go tomorrow to go serve on a grand jury for the corporation, or if I don't go to vote for the company panhandlers, at what point in time do I fucking care? And they'll say, well, we wouldn't have electricity. And there wasn't no electricity before you showed up. You really want to get down to it, this game's way simpler than what everybody can imagine. You just got to be willing to do it. And if you ain't willing to do it, well, I guess you're not wanting to be free. You're acting like you want to be free. But then again, I'm not going to knock you for going, hey, I want food. I'm stuck in a city. There ain't no way out. Now, I don't mean you lazy bastards that are lazy in the head, right? Lazy in the fucking head. Sitting there saying, well, I can't get out. I shouldn't try. Oh, my God, it's so hard. Yeah, you lazy motherfucker. It ain't hard. Before all this shit there was you, your great-granddaddy crapping his nappies and his fucking parents doing it the old way. Give me a fucking break. Right? With no John Law, with nothing, you know what I mean? What you got, you made with your fucking hands. And let me tell you here now, Lou and Hanauer and even Charlie fucking Rose may have actually figured out, without me, you're fucked, because you're too fucking lazy to do it yourself. That's all there is to it. You can make all the weed eaters in the world, all the chainsaws, push mowers, all the Briggs and Stratton motors. You just keep punching them motherfuckers out. And you're going to get to the point where you got to melt them bastards down because you're so fucking stupid you can't work on them. You can design them, but you can't build them. And the guy that builds them can't design them. And the guy that builds them, for fuck's sake, can't work on them. So they just build parts. Fuck it, don't work on it. Just put new parts on it. That's right. You'll be surprised what a real mechanic is and what a real mechanic is not. All right. Now, I'm just saying, it's fucking hilarious, and it's always been hilarious, and it'll always be hilarious, and people are going to be dying by the cajillions every fucking day of the week, and most of it's due to people just not fucking using their heads. Okay? That's it. But my hat's off to Hanauer and Lou, and by accident, Charlie Rose. I don't usually listen to their shit. He's kind of got an elitist hard-on, bent. I mean, like, whatever. I don't know who he is, you know. The point is, I think he's done some presidential debates. Like that mean anything? Fiction and presumption and fiction. It's a hackter's actor world. Yay.